Well, hello there, ladies and gents. I'm Tammy Sipniewski, your crypto queen. Thank you so much for popping by my channel. Please know this is not financial advice. I am only here to entertain you and to remind you to buy on red candles. Speaking of red candles, I'm not psychic. I believe they exist, but I'm not one of them. However, I do have a funny feeling that I know what you're going to be saying next year when the bull market is in full swing, and that is, why didn't I buy more? Oh my gosh, I could have gotten Chronos for a nickel. Now it's 50 cents. Why didn't I buy more? This is I've seen the cycles come and go. I've had the same inner narrative with myself. Why didn't I buy more? So this is a time where you really need to consider, what is it that I'm buying? What have I previously purchased? Maybe you FOMO'd into the last bull market, and maybe you're in losses and everything. Everything you bought was at a significantly higher price point. DCA into those things. And what that means is dollar cost average. Let's say that you initially started to buy into Bitcoin when Bitcoin was at $60,000. And maybe when it hit like $40,000, you gave up. True, you should have bought more when it was at $15,000, but we'll let that go. Maybe you just didn't realize, maybe you didn't know. You dollar cost average in. You buy more in this position, you bring down that average. This way, when the bull market starts, you're going to be in profits a lot faster than if you wait for Bitcoin to finally catch up to where the 40 or $50,000 was where you purchased it. Okay. Look at these other things that you might have already purchased or are interested in purchasing. And when I say that, like, I'm talking about actual cryptocurrencies that have actual utility use cases. Don't get into these things that you believe are community tokens or, yay, it's a meme coin, it's a fun meme coin, and it's going to focus on things that have an actual use case that people are going to use, and it has the potential of generating income. This way, that equals longevity for that project. Okay. Look at Pepe. Look what happened to Pepe. Pepe is still circling the drain. People are still hodling their Pepe because they think it's going to come back. Meanwhile, the bots are trading the heck out of it, and the liquidity is slowly being drained. The market cap just drains every week. Don't get caught in that. Go to CoinMarketCap and check out, a lot of the different things that are in like the top 50 and 40 coins. What's there? Does something look good to you? Participate actively in, like, I would even say really the top 20. But there are some good things that are significantly higher on the rankings as well. But I read an article today about Link. Now, full transparency, I do own some Chainlink already. Not a great amount, but it's definitely something that I'm looking at. But I only buy on red candles. So, like, the past couple days have been green, so I have to wait for this to go red before I can buy it again. But what I like to do is zoom out. So when I go to all, I can see that the all-time high of this Chainlink was like over $48. It's on sale right now for $7 almost. Why wouldn't I buy this here and buy a significant amount? This way, like the cycles always happen, the charts always follow Bitcoin. For those projects that have the staying power, they pump with Bitcoin and they dump with Bitcoin. So this is going to, when Bitcoin goes to hit all new highs, all of these other things are going to be hitting their highs as well. So just keep that in mind. But I like this link because, like I said, I read a pretty good article. So let me get to the article and see and consider, what, is this something that I should consider investing in? Like, does this sound like something that has good utility? And if you do believe in the future of cryptocurrency and how the fiat banks eventually have to get into cryptocurrency, hey, maybe this is something that they will wind up utilizing. And that will only make that project explode. Now, of course, that's not a guaranteed thing, but I do like the dev for this project. And I liked what I read in the article. And that's why I'm deciding to purchase more Link. Okay, so let's get to the article. Let me take a little sip of water before I do. Nope, that's the website. Let me here. Where is it? Okay, here it is. And by the way, this article is compliments of the Daily Hodl. Chainlink creator Sergey Nazarov says value from TradFi can now flow into public blockchain industry. And that's what we're waiting for. When the actual fiat banks start to trade with cryptocurrency, exchange cryptocurrency, and even use your cryptocurrency as collateral to get a loan. That's acceptance, right? Sergey Nazarov, creator of Chainlink, says recent experiments have proved that banks and traditional financial institutions can now connect to hundreds of different blockchains easily. In a new interview with Jill Malandrino, a reporter for NASDAQ, Nazarov touches on a recent Chainlink based experiment conducted by Swift and a group of banking giants, including Citi, BNY of Mellon, and that's Bank of New York Mellon, BNP Paribas, and others. And that BNP, that's a French bank. Swift announced in June that it was using Chainlink to test interoperability measures with over a dozen institutions. The giant said institutions that want to interact with tokenized assets from the problem of excuse me, let me just start that one over again. The giant said institutions that want to interact with tokenized assets face the problem of blockchains not being interoperable, with each having its own functionality or liquidity, thus creating friction and overhead for the firms. According to Nazarov, the tests have resulted in three main achievements. It achieved three very important things. The first thing is that it proved that you can use existing bank infrastructure like Swift and Swift messages to easily connect to hundreds of chains with very minimal amount of efforts from the banks, which means that banks can go onto hundreds of chains very efficiently. And that's what we're looking for, right? The less friction, the easier it is for these institutions to work with all of these different chains. They're, going to accept it easier. Less friction, the better. The second thing that it proved is that multiple chains, both public and private, can be connected efficiently and reliably for those banks to transact with each other. And the final thing that is proved is that the private chains can transact with public chains effectively, meaning that the value for the private bank industry can flow into the public chain industry, which I think will have a very important impact on both the banking world and the public blockchain world. I'm tongue tied tonight. Sorry. It's late for me, guys. It's almost midnight. Nazarov says that in order for banks to utilize blockchain tech, they have to connect to using their existing infrastructure, which they have placed so much investment into. He says Chainlink allows banks to integrate their systems into the crypto space, bringing their value onto public blockchains. Banks have made a very large investment in the security of their existing infrastructure. Have they, though? Have they really? And they've trained a lot of people to use the infrastructure, which is very different than startups that have begun their entire journey on the blockchain. So they have no existing systems that they have to keep secure or have people use. So banks rely on these systems to a very large degree, and there's a huge amount of value on them. They're not getting rid of them. So really, the only way that banks are going to be able to use blockchain efficiently is from their existing infrastructure. Once you put a lot of value into a system, you're very unlikely to shut it down, which I agree with. And that sounds good to me. Like, that definitely sounds like something that absolutely has a future, right? It's inevitable that these fiat banks have to get into cryptocurrency. Inevitable. And what are going to be the instruments that are set in place that make it very easy for them to do? It's a project like Chainlink. And that's why I'm deciding to purchase more of Chainlink probably tomorrow or the next day. I'm going to wait because whenever they have like a big pump day, like they've had for the past week, it's gone up 13%. So that's a nice big hike for Chainlink. So you know what? I should have bought it earlier when it was, low or, well, what was it last month? Last month, the very low. Yeah, it was just like a little south of $6. So not so bad. Like I'm not too far behind, but this is something definitely that I'm purchasing, and, I think that the potential for Chainlink to go up is definitely going to be there, especially if I have the intention of hodling it for many years. It's gonna be really good. Definitely. I believe for me. Once again, I'm telling you what I'm doing. I'm not advising you. I'm telling you what I'm doing and how I'm handling my investments. Well, that's going to do it for me. I appreciate you hanging in with me during my midnight tongue tie trying to read that article. I appreciate you. And thank you so much for popping by my channel and joining me. And remember, until next time, only buy on red candles and please take care of yourself.